Hey, what's up, class? Okay, so what we're looking at here is a model of an imp from a video game. Anyways, this little exercise is going to cover the process of rigging a simple model. Well, building a skeleton and putting it together. So I'm going to start right off by showing you the underlying structure of the bones. I'm going to hit key 4. Alright. I'm going to actually select the structure and move it. Well, no, actually what I recommend doing when you're working with a model like this is simply taking your shading and switching it to X-ray. See? Alright. This is actually going to be the file that you will receive. This will be the starting point. And it'll be up to you if you want to go through this process. I mean, this is considered extra credit because it is pretty intense. There's a lot of work that goes into even generating a small, simple rigged model, but I'll run you through the process. So as we can see here, there's a series of bones that have been generated using the bone or the joint tool, I believe. And then, of course, they're all laid out in sequence, starting from the base, which is the primary source. If I select this and move it about, that's the center point of the entire figure. And if you think about it, it's similar to how people are set up in general. Your hips, your core, it's usually the primary source of your balance. So everything, it only makes sense that this mimics that fact. And we have, of course, all of these joints that hook up together. If you all remember the crane exercise, the joints, as far as the triangle goes, gives you a little indicator as far as the hierarchy. Now each one of these joints was generated individually, starting from the base, spine going up like that, then the leg, then the arm, and then of course the ribs. Another thing that helps when you're working with joints is, of course, using the general editor, the hypergraph hierarchy. So that way, you see, there's a lot of, this may look like a lot. It looks like a lot in a list, but once you get used to working with these pieces, and of course, labeling your bones properly, it just takes practice. Just got to get used to it. But as you can see here, if we take a look at the base, which is what the bone is called, the imp base, that's the pelvic area right here that controls pretty much the entire skeleton is linked to it. Next we have spine 1, spine 2, spine 3, spine 4, the neck, the head, and then of course the face. Anytime we have an area that branches off, see, starting from the head, the head's got 2 joints attached to it, the skull top and the face. Same thing is true for the base of the, well, I should say spine 4. Spine 4 branches off into 2 different directions, which is the right arm and the left arm. Same thing is true for the base of the skeleton. It branches off to the right leg and the left leg. And when it comes to working with this type of thing, it's always important to label everything properly. Some people will come up with their own schemes. For instance, the primary base here, they either call it a base or master or something like that, and then the rest is just like simple sequence numbering or lettering, A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you want to call it. And then from there, we get things like right arm, or in my case, the way I like to label things here is like R chest, R shoulder, R elbow, R wrist. So that's just short for right. And the left hand side is just L chest, L shoulder, L elbow, L wrist, and so on and so forth. Same thing with the legs, same thing with the ribs. So next video, I'll show you how the bone structure was set up. Just using the same tool that we used in the crane exercise, but that'll be our starting point. You don't have to follow that section. You'll start off with the full model and the skeleton ready to rig with IK handles and a couple other things. It actually isn't too bad, but like with any new thing, you just have to keep using it and then get better at it. So start off the video. Next video we'll be creating joints for this piece.